I'm Olivia. Mila is over here on the bed. She might be joining us later. I think she's coming right now. Hello, come on up. She's been a little itchy, so I gave her some flea treatment, and it seems to have taken care of it. I'm allergic to fleas, and I haven't seen any flea bites on me, so I'm pretty sure it was just like a random flea. But she seems to be better now, so that's good. So today we're going to be talking about the book Pirenesi by Susanna Clarke. I was a little dubious about reading this at first because somewhere I'd read a story about a man who was the only occupant of an apartment building and was living in an apartment that had been previously occupied by a scientist. The man, who has amnesia, is reading the journals left behind by the scientist, trying to figure out what's going on. Every morning he awakens to find wet footprints in his apartment. So here's the setup for Pirenesi. Our protagonist, who doesn't remember his name or anything else because he has amnesia, lives alone in a building that's surrounded by water, and he keeps a journal. And so I figured Pirenesi would be that story. So since I already knew the ending, I was like, well, putting it off. But everybody kept recommending it. Everywhere I went, was like, oh, you gotta read Pirenesi. I'm looking for a book like this. Oh, Pirenesi. How about a book like this? Pirenesi. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll bite. I reread books all the time. In fact, one of the books we're going to talk about today is one that I've read at least 3 times. I think more like 5. So I reread books all the time. So I'm like, well, let's try it. Maybe the quality of the writing will offset the fact I know the surprise ending. It's not that book. So woot. So my surprise ending was really surprising. So as we start out the book, there are 2 people in what our protagonist refers to as the world. There is our protagonist, who just basically refers to himself as I throughout, mostly. It's like Rebecca. And the man that comes and visits him sometime, who is referred to as the other. So there actually have been more people in the world, because if I ever learn how to edit videos, I might have to add a finger air quotes counter to my videos. But yeah, there have been other 15 people. So most of those people are dead bodies that he finds, including one that's a little girl, and that he thinks maybe he grew up in the house, which is what he refers to, the place where he lives. Maybe he grew up in the house, and the little girl was supposed to have been his wife. They're supposed to grow up together, Adam and Eve style, and become husband and wife. He doesn't know. So the other refers to the protagonist as Pirenesi, title of the book. Pirenesi, the house is a labyrinth, and Giovanni Battista Pirenesi was an artist and architect who was famous for his drawings of Rome and also for his drawings of what he referred to as prisons, which were underground vaults. The second edition of these prisons includes things that are impossibilities, machines and stuff that just couldn't exist in real life. His work inspired such people as M.C. Escher and Jose Luis Borges, and many of our modern fantasy video games. And so even the modern fantasy video games that were based on those creators were inspired by Pirenesi. So eventually our protagonist gives himself a name of sorts. That name is the beloved child of the house. So I shall endeavor throughout this video to refer to him as the child. I may slip. It's one of those things. Someday, if I ever learn how to, I'm pointing at my editing computer, if I ever have enough money burning a hole in my pocket that I can I can buy a chair and sit at that desk for a long time, I'll figure out how to edit out when I flub. But for the time being, you get this, flubs and all. So, as we open, the other is a scientist who's trying to discover a connection to lost knowledge, such as the ability to fly and to talk to animals. Well, you can talk to animals, right? But they can't talk back. Something happened the other day. See, she's itchy. I don't know what's going on. The other day, something was going on, and I'm like, for that stupid language barrier. You can understand some of the words I say. I can't understand anything you're telling me. body language and stuff, but still. Anyway, one of the other abilities that the other's particularly interested in is to be able to control the minds of others. Um, the child's more interested in, see, I almost did it. The child's more interested in, like, flying. So, the other says the house may hold the secret to finding these abilities, and he's enlisted the child in the search. They meet twice a week to discuss their progress. The other also brings things to the child, such as multivitamins and plastic bowls that the child can use to collect rainwater, because the water that surrounds him is seawater. There's evidence that 13 other people have been in the house in the form of the deceased that the child visits. For this reason, the child posits the existence of another person, the 16th person, referred to throughout as 16. Both not much and quite a lot happens in Pirenesi. We're reading the child's journals as he explores the house. The other says the 16th person is not to be trusted and will do something that will destroy the child's mind. Another person visits and says he is not 16. So the child declares him to be the prophet. The prophet says he visits the house from time to time, but never stays very long because of the effect it can have on the mind. He starts to explain what the house is, although the child's understanding of the words is incomplete. He says the house is what he refers to as a distributary world, one that is created by ideas flowing out of another world, and that the ideas that created the house were the ideas of the knowledge that the other's looking for, but the knowledge isn't there anymore. It's more like a canyon created by the action of a river that is dried up. He talks about other people, though, again, the child doesn't have the frame of reference to understand. He also tells the child that 16 is looking for the child, and that the other's name is Ketterly before he leaves. Now, I totally forgot, I was going to mention this before. If you're going to read Pirenesi, something to remember is that Pirenesi's mother is from, I believe, sub-Saharan Africa. She's Ghanaian. So, even though most of the people in this book are British, don't go picturing a white guy. Anyway, when the child is adding the conversation with the prophet to his index, the index of his journals, he realizes the journal he's working on, which he thought was the 10th, was in fact the 30th journal he'd kept. He'd scratched off the 2's in the 10's place off of what he now thinks is journal 1, changing journal 21 into journal 1. He then goes back to the journals marked 1 and 2 and finds a lot of writing about the people the prophet was talking about. While exploring, he finds scraps of paper which he reassembles into writings about how I hate him and want to kill him. When 16 does arrive, the child avoids them. The 16, I don't want to do any spoilers in this video, so we're going to kind of just talk around it for a minute. 16 arrives, the child avoids them but is still curious. Eventually, 16 leaves a note, which the child erases most of, just enough, he hopes, to keep from losing his sanity. What he reads later is evocative enough, with talk of the police and other potential victims. Victims of whom? I think this may be where I leave the plot. It all comes to a head during a flood, and the child does eventually learn his whole backstory. He makes decisions that are right for him, but leaves his options open. The language of this book is really evocative. I'm totally envious. I every once in a while make a stab at writing a book. I'm going to level with you, I'm having some mental health issues right now. I'm going through quite a lot in my personal life and also my professional life, and it's mostly depression. It's not like I'm, having any kind of self-harm ideas or anything, but, and it's hard for me to write when I'm not happy. It's so funny, just today I was like, why can't I write when I'm unhappy? And I Googled this, and everybody's like, and all the results I'm getting are like, why can't I write when I'm happy? How come I can only write when I'm depressed? I'm really miserable. Why am I writing so well? How come when I'm happy, the words just stop? And I'm like, apparently I'm an outlier. So I hate using the AI, but it had some good points. I'm meeting with a new therapist tomorrow. Maybe I'll hit him with these. But basically, when I'm unhappy, my brain goes into more like a survival type flight or flight mode kind of thing. And who has time to be indulging in escapism when you're like in this kind of mode? And that's that's pretty close to what I'm experiencing right now. So I'm not real happy with that. But anyway, so Clarke, whether she was happy or unhappy, did a fantastic job. She did a bang up job on this. The language is evocative and atmospheric and fantastic. Um, I have trouble describing these places in the book that I'm working on mostly, even though they're all based on places I've really been. I can picture myself. Um, One of the places that it's based on is the island of Ischia in Italy. And I remember what it's like to walk down the streets. I can feel the street under my feet. I can hear the birds in the trees. I can see the Bay of Naples off in the distance. And I can't get the words on the page, and it's so frustrating. And this makes me so envious. Also, the child, it was not really writing this, but the child's, even though it's Clarke writing as the child, the journals are in such detail, dialogue and descriptions, and the wind with the leaves and the autumnal wind. Why can't I do this? So I'm gonna have to go over that with my therapist. So it's a fantastic book. It's really amazing. It is not that story. If anybody out there ever knows what story that was, please tell me, because I keep Googling it and nothing comes up. And I'm like, maybe I dreamed it. I do have very, very vivid dreams. Maybe I dreamed it. Maybe I should write it. That's a thought, if I ever get out of the slump. Anyway, I will start with relationship with a new therapist tomorrow, and I will see you guys in the next video. Do all the things, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, leave comments, recommending books. I've read thousands of books in my lifetime, but I got time to read more. And if you see anything that you think, if you've read anything you think I'd like based on what you've seen here, remember, I like cozy fantasy with minimal plot. The next video I'm going to make is going to be one of those. Well-written kids books, which also the next one's going to be. Let me know. I'm always up for new ideas, and I will let you know in the comments if it's something I've already read, and if it's something that I might come up and make videos of in the future. So ta-ta for now. Mila says goodbye, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.